profit is proportional to risk taken.
Mhm.
It's almost the same level of profit is proportional to discomfort endured, right? And so
Yes.
you go through this. And hey, tell us, I heard through the grapevine, that man over there, that at one point you were the one-armed octopus taking care of everything. You had 10 arms. Everything had
Yes.
to come through you. You had to be the one that was in the middle. What happened? What's the story there?
Yeah. So yeah, having worked with an Italian company, and having also they exited the company for like over $1 billion, which is a very big number in the industry that we were in. I learned that the reason why they had a strong value is that they had control over the entire operations. Um, from the product to the manufacturing to the warehousing, even content creation, everything that they used to do in marketing used to happen in house. Um, and I learned a really good lesson from there is that if you really want to take your destiny in your own hands and really want to pivot, at a startup that is going very strong, um, you need to have everything in house. And I never really believed in hiring agencies or hiring someone external or external help to come in and like kind of give us an idea or teach us how to do it. I always believed that we should do everything ourselves, and we can be experts and become experts in everything in all the verticals inside the company. Uh, until really like we hit a wall, especially on our marketing side. We've been believing that this is the best of our capabilities and like we were the best at it, and no one else can do it better than what we do, until recently we started struggling a little bit in some of the media buying. And I was fortunate enough, we were the winners of the Inc. 5000. We were one of the fastest 5,000 companies winner in the US. So we were invited to this beautiful event where I was fortunate enough to meet one of the entrepreneurs that owned a marketing agency. He just, we sat down together and he's like, let me take a look at your ad accounts and let me see if there's a place where I can help. And the minute he sat down and, started explaining, we're doing this, we tried that. And he's like, let me tell you something, Talal. You have one brand, and that's exactly, you do this for only one brand. We have over 200 to 300 brands, and we see all the struggles in every single brand. And not only that, but we also learn from all these mistakes, and that we built a team that actually learned a lot from all these learning phases. And I believe, looking at your ad account, we can really help you. I'm not going to say you're doing a lot of things that are wrong, but I'm saying that you're not up to date to all the newest technologies and all the newest techniques out there in the media buying. And we can come in and really turn this around for you. I didn't believe it. I figured this is not, yes, they're going to do something, but it's not going to be that remarkable. And man, just in a matter of a couple of weeks, we felt like we were leaving so much money on the table. And have we known about this before, we would have been in a much bigger place right now. Not that we're not growing, but it would have been so much help and so much support. And I would have been able to focus on so many other areas of the business versus being stubborn and trying to really crack the code, where in an area that I'm obviously not the expert in it. I have a general idea about how it works. But yeah, that was one of the things that I believe that, yes, there are some really strong experts out there that can help. And believe it or not, this company is called Data Over Ego. It's called DOE. The founder is a very good friend now. His name is Ramsey. And they came in and really they turned things around. So it was a great learning lesson for me. And now I'm like, what next? What can we actually, like, what kind of portion of the business that we're struggling in that we can delegate to someone where we can focus on what we do best, which is designing, producing products. Supply chain, we're great at it. Coming up with trends and designs that are innovative and that can resonate with our customer, and let the expert really do the job on the things that we have a general idea or a general overview on, but we're not expert in.
Got it. It's such a good lesson, isn't it? To know that you've outgrown your own internal in-house strength, and to not have the ego kind of ruin what you've started off with, because you can tap out and crater what you've made to this point. I've done too many of those mistakes. I truly identify. I've got more questions. Do you have a question?
I do as well, of course. Go.
One question, one line. There's a difference between starting a business and putting everything into it, as many hours as it takes, versus now where you're growing at 300% year over year, which is amazing. How are you changing the way you now run your business beyond delegating to specialists? How has your mind changed? What was the mind like when you started? How is the mind now?
Yeah, the mindset is everything, and it's a very big piece of being an entrepreneur. Just basic things like when I was starting, used to focus a lot on my mindset of being motivated all the time. It's like I was in the motivation phase. And where I'm at now, I switched to the development phase. It's like I'm no longer need the motivation, and those motivation speakers around me, like people and mentors that really led me to start in the first place. Right now, I'm more like, how can I develop myself personally, and how can we grow the business and kind of sharpen the edges and make sure that we're well-rounded and we're prepared for what's coming next. At first, starting is like we were doing everything like a trial and error. We were testing in different aspects of the business, trying different things and exciting things that could work and could not. Right now, it's more like a calculated risk and a step-by-step, and a final goal and a performance goals on how we're gonna reach those goals. It's like we were just I never had a business plan, for instance. I've never done a market study. I've never done a feasibility study or any of that. I just started, and figured it out as I go. Where right now it's like, no, we have payrolls. We need to have a forecast, and we need to purchase accordingly. We cannot be out of stock. Back in the days, we're out of stock. Oh, it's a good problem to have. It's no longer a good problem to have, being out of stock and not capitalizing on all these customer visitors that are coming in, not finding anything to buy. And more on what are the next steps. Like, we're always thinking ahead in terms of 300% year over year. There's so many things that you don't see in terms of operations. Like, we're gonna do it's an X amount of numbers this year, all right, but we did not expect that the warehouse is gonna be small. We did not expect that we needed 4 more or 5 more people to be doing the pick and packing. We did not expect that we need more content creators, more graphic designers, and all of that. Being at that stage and knowing what it takes and measuring the risk factor versus the revenue, it's fundamental. It's like, it's not anymore how much can we grow, it's how much we want to grow. In terms of like, we're not limiting ourselves, but we're setting ourselves goals and targets that, yes, we can exceed it, but it's going to come at a cost. And that cost could be a bottom line decrease, and so on.
That's awesome. So I want to make sure our audience is aware of the bottom line a little bit. So this is what Talal did is this is a bootstrap business. There are no investors here. There is no money that you can spend that is not yours. Right? So one of Talal's great talent is, I think, being a magnet for good people. But Talal, please tell us a little bit more, because you're you've managed to attract these good people, but you're also balancing your expenses. So while you give great opportunities for people to grow, from your finance guy to your video guy for your photo shoots, like, you have a lot of people that you were able to attract, help them grow, but in a bootstrapping way, they don't cost $200,000 a piece in Costa Mesa.
Yes, yes, that's so true. First, I will begin by, really, I was fortunate enough that my partner, which is my wife, in this business, she's a fascinating entrepreneur. Like, she just mimics the same energy that I have. She's unbelievable in her executions and unbelievable in the amount of work and time that she puts behind the business. Um, and it's hard. It's really hard, for, and I've never really seen like a couple, like a married couple, that get along that well, not only in the house but also in the business side of things. Her and I really complement each other with our tasks, and with our expertise. Like, she brings in something that I don't have, and I bring something that I don't have, and both of us together, we're really a power team. That is, that is one of the most fundamental people, like us, me and her, the founders. But then we knew that both of us were really not great at the numbers. Like, we have a general understanding, but we don't like digging into the numbers and building the P&Ls and putting all this together. And at some point, we needed to hire a bookkeeper. And that guy, came to our house and sat down with us and said, "Hey, listen, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. And this is how much it will cost you." He was a very interesting person, that I started asking him a lot of questions, like, "What do you do on the side? Is that your full-time job?" It's like, "Well, I actually have a full-time job, and I do this on the side, kind of like to, you know, kind of like to pay off, the bills. It's like kind of like a side hustle for me, where I do bookkeeping for other companies. But I also have my Amazon store. I also have this and that, and like we kind of like starting to connect." So I shared with him a little bit of what we're doing, and what's the mission and the vision of the company, and what is it that we want to build. And immediately, like, he's like, "I'm very interested in kind of learning more about it." And the more we started sitting and talking together, the more that I figured, like, this is my number 3 guy at the company, and this is someone that I would really love to be here at full time, because I knew that in order to be successful and in order to really grow the business, you need someone who's hands-on the numbers on daily basis. And I couldn't have found a better person, someone who's very honest, very driven, unbelievably driven, cares. Like, care is one of the words that I really believe. If you want to look at someone who can take that journey with you, you need someone who actually cares, and that person really does. And he was my number 3. He's the best thing that ever happened to us at the company. He went and left his job automatically. He really believed in what we're doing. He really saw in us something that a lot of people didn't at the beginning, and believe in that we're gonna get there. Left his job, joined us, and now he's our number 3. And he's someone who's, as we grow, we're all like distributing fair salaries to each other, and he can see like we're already like growing and growing and growing. But not only that, like, I think that once we share the story of the company and how we started and where we're heading at, we attract a lot of people around us that really wants to be part of this fascinating journey and this beautiful brand that we built. Because we believe in the next steps, and we believe that on every step that we're taking, we're gonna really, grab those results that we're looking for. And we've been hitting our targets year over year. So it's hasn't been a hard sell for people to join us. It's been just like, this is what we're up to, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it. And yeah, a lot of people, a lot of beautiful, great people really joined our team recently. My videographer, photographer, like they all started, like even our interns, they started as interns and they worked for free for like 3 months, and then they transitioned into full-time employees. And yeah,
I just wanted everybody out there to know, in order to grow 300% or hit your numbers every year, your job as an entrepreneur to find ways to do it without millions of dollars raising from investors.
Yes, absolutely. And you cannot do it on your own, like the example we give on hiring an agency, but you cannot do it on your own. And it's not fun on your own. You need the team and you need the people. And I believe that being a professional basketball player previously, that was one of the things that I did. I had a very short career, had a lot of injuries. But what I learned is I learned a lot how to work with a team. And I also learned that, being a leader in a team and trying to communicate that with the rest, and try to communicate when everyone is really struggling during certain time of the game, and trying to lift them up and lift their spirit up, and knowing that the only way to win is by the last seconds. Like there's literally, it's when you push that last moments is when you actually make the win. It's those last seconds inside the game when everybody's down and you're like pushing. It's like, guys, there's only few seconds left and then we can win the championship. I learned that from basketball and brought it into the work environment. And I feel like being cheerful every morning and having this team really believing in what you're doing and being on that journey with you, it's just incredible.
Bino is taking notes.
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. It is quite the journey. Everyone's going to ask this: how much time are you spending at work versus with the family? How is it changing? What are you doing to balance yourself out? Otherwise, you will get run down, depleted, and sick, and not be able to perform.
Absolutely. So again, fortunate enough that, first of all, I work with my wife, right? Like, let's start with that. And not only that, but Bella Boo Bear the name was after my daughter, which is her name, but my daughter's Bella, and that's how we came up with the name. We always used to call her Bella Boo Bear, and she's the inspiration behind the entire, not only the entire brand, but also the, most important is the name. We've brought in the family into the work environment. Like, Bella's been not only part of the company, but also a big part of the design of the outfits that we have. Having sensory issues and having sensitive skin, and being, a little kid herself, and being tied into certain shows, TV shows that she watches, and certain characters that she loves and she likes. We literally brought in the family into the work environment.
She's the chief designer, I guess.
She's the chief designer. She has a saying in everything that we do, and in everything that, in every step along the way, from designing the products to selecting the print, selecting everything that we're doing. So I personally work anywhere between 14 to 17 hours a day. And that's because I'm really passionate. I love how we do it, and I love the growth of the company. And I actually don't want to say I work. I'd say, like, it's more for me like a sport. Like, I train, let's say. 14 to 17.
And did you notice he said that I know how we do it, not how. It's the process of it. It's just the journey of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. For me, it's all the journey. It's the process. I'm like, yes, I'm passionate about the brand, of course, but it's the process that I'm passionate the most about. It's the fact that I can take a product X and then can find someone who can not like buy it, and how to carry that person throughout the entire cycle and funnel. That's what excites me the most. But going back to the work family balance, they're part of it, and especially that I genuinely believe that um, it's not like, oh, they work with us all day. No, I just want to be clear for the audiences that are listening. But like when they come from school and they come to the office is really a good vibe. They get to sit with me. She get to pick all the right characters, that are gonna go on the next outfit that's gonna be launched. She's the reason why we license Paramount as an exclusive partner. She's the reason why we license Universal and Warner Brothers. We brought in the Justice Leagues, the Wonder Woman, Batman, Spider-Man. We brought in Paw Patrol, all these beautiful characters. And guess what? She gets to see a sneak of what's coming up when the movie's coming out, and how it's going to happen. And if it's a new character in a movie is coming up as well. But with all due respect to the school system that we have, I think there's a big generation out there that it doesn't look like how our fathers and our grandfathers worked, and doesn't communicate the same way that they communicate, and also doesn't have the same beliefs that our fathers and grandfathers did things. And everything changed. Communication, marketing changed, advertising changed, the way we communicate with each other changed, the way we're doing this meeting on this video changed. So why is the school system hasn't changed? And that's something that when I look at how our kids are being fed the information, it's like it's dated. And I believe that having them being in a classroom and not being only theorists and not practitioners and not seeing how the real world works can be hurtful.
Yeah.
So a big part of them being on this journey is that learning experience that they have. And that balance, I think, is also healthy for them. Is like being part of entrepreneurship and seeing the steps and negotiating margin and seeing their mom talking to all these vendors, and sometimes we get investors and it's like, we're not selling a part of the company, this is under my name. My daughter screams that. I think it's healthy. A balance is healthy there. But yeah, I'm in it, man. I'm in it like 24/7. And how do you balance that? There's if you want to call it, I don't call it balance. I call it a lifestyle. It's my new lifestyle, and my kids and my family are on board.
Well, kudos to you. It's not a balance for you. It's incorporating your family and business into each other, and it's also amazing that you're using this to grow your kids how to be grown-ups one day. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I have no choice. I have no choice.
When I go to office, I like jump through over the kids on the floor.
Yes.
To get to Talal.
Yes. And you can make it work, and you can make it a workout. Even from selecting the guys at the warehouse, they're 4 best friends that grew up together in high school. And I hired the first one, and then the second one, which Sammy is his other best friend, and they brought then their other best friend and their other best friend. And when you look at them, they're not working; they're working out. Like when they run to get the product, they're like literally running and throwing it to each other, and they have this beautiful vibe. And to a point that whenever everybody's like, "You're growing so fast, you need a 3PL," and every time we talk to a 3PL, they can never beat our numbers. They can never ever beat our numbers, because I have a group of people that are having fun picking products and kind of enjoying what they're doing, and that's how the productivity is really, really exceeding everyone else. Even when, like you said, when you come to the office, everybody's enjoying, everybody's sitting and having fun. It's a fun brand, and you're celebrating birth at the end. It's a baby and kids clothing apparel company. And when you see kids right there, and like you playing with characters all day, it's really fun. It's really fun. And for me, again, it's not a work. It's kind of like you're working out. It's like playing basketball and going to the, playing games every single day. That's what's fun about it.